All right. Now I think, look, we're at an hour and 20. So I think we go straight to our final topic. We got to talk about Superman and Lois. Now that the show has returned from its hiatus, I'm just going to fix the banner while I talk to you because it's not episode 9, it's episode 10, and I deserve to be
That's right.
fired and flogged. There we go. It's back from its brief hiatus. On Tuesday night, we got to see where things went from the last crazy episode.
Yes.
So here we go. We ended up pretty much fully in that other world. Remember, you and I were talking a few weeks back about all this talk about the other side and the unity with you merging with your other self and blah blah blah. We're like,
Right.
all right, but we need to see what this means. So it's not
Yeah.
just this
And we
abstract.
need to see where Superman is because he was
Yes,
absent for an entire
yeah.
episode.
So we finally got to see that bizarro world, and it was, I mean, it was super interesting. But we got to see, we got to find out more about Bizarro, by the way, that he wasn't just always this ogre monster type, that he actually was like a traditional Superman on his Earth. But he did things a little differently than our Superman did. Rather than create an alter ego and a Clark Kent and a Kent family, he lived his life publicly, where Lois and his sons were known to the world as being members of the House of L. And he almost lives like a celebrity on the red
Yeah.
carpets, posing for pictures and taking and signing autographs. And it's a very, this Superman went just down a totally different path than
Yeah.
the one that we know. And at first I was worried about that because I'm like, are we doing the evil Superman again in an alternate Earth? Like we just did this last season where there's an Earth where the Superman went evil. But I thought what was interesting here is that, like, yeah, he has some bad qualities. He makes
Yeah.
some bad decisions. He's clearly not the most supportive father. And he hasn't quite nailed the balance between work and family, right? Where he seems to be
Right.
always out doing the hero stuff, which shows he's still Superman. He wants to save lives, but he also has completely apparently kind of like neglected his family, and his sons are suffering because of it. So I guess in the end, like, he's not an evil Superman. It just kind of shows that, like, he went down a different path and
Yeah.
it led him to, not end up the best version of himself. But he does redeem himself at the end, where he, is willing to sacrifice his life to save his kids and to try to make things right.
Yeah.
Um,
Misguided, selfish, little narcissistic,
yeah.
kind of version of our Superman. Yeah.
What'd you think of the format this season? It was interesting. Like, it seemed like after every commercial break, we would see the title card of like who we were there watching now. And
Yeah. I
sometimes,
thought that was kind of neat. Yeah.
right? Yeah, and even the time seemed to shift because the Bizarro stuff, a lot of that was in flashback before he'd
Yes.
become the white monster, crazy Bizarro. And there was also a flashback with the brother, and you got to see how him and his brother, Cal and Tal, are like thick as thieves and these loving,
Yeah.
supportive brothers who were there for each other and all this. Um, I mean, I feel like there's a lot to unpack here,
There
but I
was a
feel like
lot. I mean,
the biggest
yeah.
thing to me was Jonathan L. We got to see Jonathan a way that we've never seen him before. Because on our Earth, where when we get to see him, he's the normal brother. He's, the normal, regular brother. And in the other world, he's the one with the superpowers, and he becomes like straight up rebellious teenager. I hate my parents. I'm going to go do, bad things with these powers.
Right.
Kind of, yeah. And he gets pulled into that world of the cult leader,
Yeah.
which now
Of
we finally
Allie.
got to
Yeah.
see of Allie and all that. And then there's what happened with the army general whose name is now evading me,
Anderson.
who Anderson, there you go. He had a very interesting arc in this one too,
Yeah. Very
where
interesting.
he goes through the portal, he sees his alternate self, and then as they are about to merge, Jonathan kills the one that is from the alternate Earth,
Yeah.
and that's when
Bizarro Anderson.
the Bizarro Anderson, and then Anderson basically kind of becomes an anti-hero because he goes on the run with the medallions and he's hiding, and then he realizes that Superman on his Earth was doing the right thing all along. That Superman was protecting his family. That's why there were secrets. And that's why,
Yeah.
you know, he has this whole like epiphany
Like
towards
a
the end.
redemption
Like,
arc, kind of.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, I'm sorry. I was so wrong. And you saved me even after all these terrible things I did to you. And Superman in pure Superman form says, well, that's because I think everyone is deserving of being saved and
Yeah.
all that. You know, there's so many different things in this episode that I thought were like really, really cool and really different and unexpected. What did you think of episode 10?
Yeah, no, I really liked it. I think there was a lot going for it. I did appreciate the twist with Anderson. I was like, oh crap, that was actually cool. Like they really like totally flipped his character around.
Yeah,
I liked like the different. I like you said, like I was a little nervous how they're just gonna do evil Superman, but like they made it a little more nuanced than that, and they showed what effect that had on Jonathan and how it put him down like maybe the wrong path. We'll see
yeah.
if he gets like some kind of redemption, later on in the season. Um, the it was interesting. Like also, like the planet was square instead of round, which I
There was a
found pretty
lot, yeah, and
interesting.
everyone talked backwards, or rather, they talk normal, but once one of us goes to that Earth,
Yeah.
our words come out in reverse,
The
and
one thing that
everything
I
is in
thought was
reverse.
like a
What?
little, it was a little cheesy. It had that CW kind of quality to it.
What?
Um, why was everyone goth? Like everyone looked like they just got out of like a Cure music video or something. Like, did you notice every single person was goth? Like that
Yeah,
was the
Lois
main
has like
style there.
the chopped bangs and that sort of severe
Jacket, the
look,
black hair.
and Jordan
Jordan
has
was
the
even
long, yeah.
Jordan was already kind of goth, and then he was like super
Now he's
like
got
goth. Like
makeup and black nail
even
polish
the
and
girl
all
that
that.
runs the newspaper, she had like the little goth
Yeah,
like hair thing and the fishnet. Everyone in that office was dressed in like leather. I was
yeah,
like,
you're right. It's a
that was
little
a
arbitrary to be like,
little
this
arbitrary.
is an alternate world. We're gonna make everyone look edgy and gothy, and that's
Yeah,
how
I
we're
was
gonna
like, they could
show
have
them
just like
different.
I almost wish they just looked the same but had the weird, bizarro white crackly face. They could have all just
I
did that.
wonder if maybe because they just did, because then it's too much like it's a multiverse thing where it's just it's an Earth and it's slightly askew and slightly different, but it's still a recognizable Earth. If this is meant to
Right.
be like an inverted, bizarro world, then I guess it has to feel more overtly different. Now, did they all
Yeah.
have to be goth? No, but I
Because
could
also
kind of
like in our
understand.
like think about our planet, okay? Like probably the majority of people are not goth. They're maybe like
Yeah,
more like mainstream, and you have a couple of goths around. So it would have been more sense if there was like maybe like a lot of goths, but then some people kind of normal. But they
yeah.
just everyone was goth. That was the prevailing style was goth there.
So that's the thing
And
that stuck out to you most, not the square Earth, but the goth hairstyles and clothing.
also, I think Talro said "What in Square Earth" actually was one of the
He
lines,
did.
which I actually loved. It was really good. I thought it was corny, but it was good. Like
Yeah.
he did it just right. Um, it was funny, but yeah, that really stuck out to me. I was like, that's the CW kind of coming through. But otherwise, really interesting episode. It looks like Allie finished the merge. We didn't get to see the final form. I
Yeah.
wonder if she's going to look different or turn into some weird monster or something. And then yeah, we don't did he get back?
Yeah. Well, Jonathan comes back to the farm and
Yes.
confronts Lois and Jordan when they
Yeah.
realize that's not our Jonathan.
Yeah.
And then he turns and faces our Jonathan who's coming out of the barn.
That's right.
And
That's
then
right.
it
Right,
ends
yeah.
on like that cliffhanger.
So,
So yeah, so everything ends back up on our Earth, and we know Superman's coming to try and save his son after Tal in the Bizarro world saves him so he can go do that. So that was kind of neat because he realized,
yeah, that
he
was cool.
failed his brother on that world. He's not going to fail him. And I think it's just, Tal in general seems to be, whether he's in that world or in this world, they seem to really want to show that like there is a great potential for good in that character, and it's all just he it's nature versus nurture. He was raised by that hateful Kryptonian AI father who turned him into this monster, but at his core, whether here or there, there's a good person in there, and I do like that a lot. um and I hope we get to see a lot more Talro.
Yes.
But in terms of this episode, I feel like if I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, this is like an 8 out of 10 for me. I think it's another very, very good one. I'm very intrigued by where things are going here. I really want to see, though, like when Allie completes this merge,
Right.
they've done so much prep here telling us that if that happens, it's all over. Now she's doing it. I was surprised they let her do it. Like I
Right.
thought, like when she started coming together, oh, sorry, and then we do the flashback of Tal and Cal's relationship. I thought that was leading to when we get back to the present, Tal Rowe is going to stop the merge from happening. Instead, like he helps our Superman get back to Earth and go save his boy, but he doesn't stop the merge. So I'm like, so this is happening. This thing that we've heard for 10 episodes, that if this happens, it's the end of all everything, is
Yeah.
happening right in front of us. And no one's really trying to stop it now.
Right.
So, I just hope that like they could live up to this, because now they've kind of they've backed themselves into a corner, saying that she'll be more powerful than any being that's ever existed in Everdom. So
Right.
in episode 11, when we see this newly merged Allie, what the hell are they going to do to exemplify this, and how the hell are we going to stop her? Or is the reason they did this because it actually goes horribly wrong, or it isn't what she thought was going to happen?
Right.
Like I don't know.
Because
So
is it just like if she merges, she's gonna become powerful? But like, what if everyone merges? Will they also become like uber powerful, or just her because she has the medallions?
I
Like
and
that's
that's
unclear.
the thing.
Like let's
She
say the two
gave the
Jonathans
medallion away.
merge.
Yeah, she gave
I'm
it to
saying,
Jonathan to bring back to Earth, so she doesn't even
yeah,
have the medallion. So
that's right.
so I do have a question mark on it as to how they're going to pay that off. And if it turns out that she's just another sort of Superman type figure that he has to fight and beat up or whatever, I'm going to be disappointed. You've said that she's going to have these otherworldly abilities and will destroy the earth, the world as we know it. Then we've just let her become that form of herself. So what the
Yeah,
hell is it going to be next week? There's still
yeah,
4 more episodes. We have 11, 12. Yeah, we have 4 more episodes to
yeah.
go. So time to see where, we're about to find out where this has all been leading towards.
I
So
also wonder. I have a little
go for it.
theory
What?
that the two Jonathans merge, and then by the end of the season, they're able to like unmerge them, but it leaves our regular world Jonathan
With
with
powers?
powers. And that's how he gets them. Like they transferred over during the merge, and then we got the Super Bros.
See, I'm not sure I want that though. I like the idea of only one of them has it, and they kind of have to balance each other out in that way. If it's both, to me it almost becomes a little gimmicky. I like the
Yeah,
idea of only one of them has the powers, but I dig that. We'll see what
and
comes of
then
it.
Jordan comes over and merges, and they just become more goth.
Yeah, all that happens is the Jordan from our Earth, his hair gets straight, he gets some guy liner and some black
And he
nails,
loses his powers.
and he
Twist. He becomes super goth. Jonathan gets the powers,
wow.
and it's a swap reversal.
Yikes.